Okay, so I am going to talk today about some more astrology. I'm going to talk about where you're going to see trauma in your chart, why you're going to see trauma in your chart, and I'm going to go ahead and use myself as an example because this is a chart I know well, and this is largely how astrologers learn astrology is we study our own charts. Now I'm going to start out with a simpler concept and I'm going to build into a more complex concept because as of today, when I really got to spending some time, or actually early this morning, I think I got a download. And so there are some things about this particular bit of information I'm going to give you that is going to be a combination of things I've been thinking about studying in school and perhaps received a download overnight or early this morning. So what is happening is that we have 360 days divided up into 10, or not 3, let me get this, I'm just going to say it backwards. We have 10 days, 36 decans, 360 days worth. What is that? Well, that is a cycle that we have in life. We all have a very complicated cycle. And every 10 days, your cycle alters to some degree. Currently, I'm in a cycle where it is the 9th house for me, which is we are in the month of November. And in a medical sense, it's earth-based. I'm having kidney infection. House Virgo is going to be medical. That's the play that's being played out right now is I'm having medical issues. So I understand technically in my chart where I'm very low on air that I have this tendency when I feel injured, hurt, or harmed emotionally that my body acts out physically. And so what I'm needing to learn at this point, given that I'm aware of this now, is how to protect myself from these injuries, or perhaps how to not be in situations where these injuries occur. And I'm fairly sure this is what has led to this current breakup that I'm in. Now, another part of this, and I think this might be the download part of it, is that I am being asked by Spirit to just let go of what happened there. That many of us have experienced exactly this, but instead to demonstrate a healthy way forward, how to find your way out. One, don't spend a lot of time feeling like you did something wrong or that you're a bad human because something happened. I think that's number one. And two, don't run out and try to affirm you're okay by finding another human to interact with at a time like that or this. Take your time. Have boundaries. Because this is how we got here. Because our boundaries were a little on the offside. Now, I'm going to go into a little more astrology. I'm going to talk about my ascendant. I have Sag ascendant ruled by Jupiter. It's in its own house, not its own house, but its own sign. So I operate in this sense in high faith. Now, when we are born, which would be our first house experience, we come in and in a way, we think of life being born as a birth. But actually, in esoteric astrology, birth is not really birth, it's death. Now, you might say, what the heck? But if you think about it, you're coming from the other side where you're surrounded by all of your family, your ancestral family, all of your tribe, and you're loved openly and deeply. And there's never a doubt of who you are, where you belong, where you come here as an infant and you're squeezed through a dark alley in a way. And you're told you're going to have to forget everything. And as an infant, you know this. And you come out feeling dark and upset and demanding. The first bit of your life is much like a demanding, velociraptor. You've got to be cared for in every way. Because in some ways, that's what it takes it takes all of it in some ways on the part of a mother and a father, a family, to help the infant adjust to this new, not so comfortable reality. So I come in that sense, in Sagittarius in every way. What does that mean? Well, I have high faith, right? My mission here is of a high faith. It's of a solar ray that's of high faith. It's meant to come forward and expand and teach something of a higher universal knowledge. So part of why, and I understand that, my podcasts get a little bit long, but it takes me a little bit to say what all I feel Spirit is bringing me. And as an astrologer, I spend a good deal of time studying. And I'm not an astrologer that's going to come on and tell you, oh, it's this little simple this and that little simple that. It isn't. That's not true. What astrology is it's a complicated set of gears that each one of us have. And in my case, I'm operating on high faith. Even as an infant, I came in here with some sort of powerful agreement. Now, what's interesting is that I've had awareness all my life of past life agreement, or if we shall say, past incarnations. I'm very aware of them. And I've always known that I was a reincarnated being. And I often recognize people incarnate in this life that are from a past life. I can tell them who they were most recently to me. So we have powerful, powerful gifts we bring. Our chart does indicate some of that. But it's really up to us to get over that initial wound of being born or being exerted into this plane or this dimension and recovering from it and getting on with our life plan. And when we're able to do that, that is what's being asked of us. And I can see from my chart that I'm healing in every way, and not just a little bit, but ancestral healing in deep ways. And yes, maybe there's a trail of tears behind me, but when we have to change and travel, there's always going to be a trail of tears, sadly, because, well, we've come here to colonize. And sadly, we have no sense because it was taken from us at the transition into this dimension. And with that, please do hit the like, share, and subscribe. And join me on my YouTube channel where I want to start to thrive and bring you some more interesting things such as this from esoteric astrology and death astrology. And thank you so much for joining me. If you have a story you'd like to share, please do so. Please leave comments, send me a message. And thank you so much for joining me here today.